Okay, this is our fourth and final in a series of beer reviews for St. Bernardus Brewery from West Flanders, Belgium, the Watau village of Watau. And we're going to do the biggest heavy hitter and perhaps their most well-known beer. Not even perhaps, I think it basically is. It's their quadruple, which is called the ABT 12. The quadruple basically, along with its sister brands, the double and the triple, this one is much more flavorful, much more malty, much more biting, and much higher in alcohol content than the other two. This one, kind of getting conflicting reports on the ABV of St. Bernardus ABT 12. I think the consensus is it's 10%. I have seen it on the website saying 10.5%, but most... Actually, the bottle says 10%, so I'm just going to go with the 10% ABV. Quadruples usually range from anywhere between 9 and 13%, so believe it or not, this is actually on the lower end of quadruples, and some of the what's considered the best beers in the world, which includes this one, as a matter of fact, fall into the category of quadruple. I know, and most of them are Trappist monk kind of beers. Trappistes Roquefort 10 is one of them. You can basically get that at many bottle shops. The hardest beer, quite possibly in the world to find, though, is the Trappist Westvleteren 12, which is basically only sold at the monastery, kind of like this beer used to be back in the before the 90s. You had basically be at the monastery, and you had to be one of the first in line to get it when they sold their shipment. So, if you're able to get a bottle of Westvleteren beer, it'll cost you, and it'll be a little hard to get. You have to basically go to Europe, and you have to kind of be lucky when you go to Europe. So only the really, really, really hardcore beer drinkers really go do that. Plus, you have to have a little money as well. So we're going to open up St. Bernardus ABT 12, the quadruple. And we're going to pour it in here, and we're going to get a very dark colored beer. I've had this many times before. Put it up to the top of the emblem here, and very, very frothy head. Not too much of an impressive head as far as the depth of it. No problem there, but you can see the very the caramely kind of dark brownish purpley kind of color. Just kind of tells you there's just a lot going on here. As we'll kind of tilt it a little bit. And this is a very refined beer. There you go. There's the head on it kind of dissipating and clinging to the side of the glass. So, there's a lot of alcohol content, there's a lot of different stuff going on in this beer. And that's what I love about the quadruples as a whole, is just the malts, the fruitiness, there's just so much going on in the beer. So let's grab an aroma here. Oh, you know what? I could just smell this all day. I basically don't even have to drink it. I could smell it. Figs, the aroma is very, very malty, very caramelized, just very refined. This is just a beer that is just a world-class beer aroma-wise. You can tell it as soon as it hits your nose that this is going to be a great, fruity, spicy, full beer. The head's kind of dissipating, and still getting a thin film throughout the entire middle of this beer. It's not really dissipating and clearing up, so they did a great job in balancing the alcohol in the fermentation process. Very, very heavily fermented the quadruples are. So let's grab a taste right now. Actually, let me kind of swish it around. With some of these Belgian beers, it's important to kind of swish it around, so some of the grain and some of the flavors kind of mix well. Otherwise, they may have a tendency to settle to the bottom. And you want to make sure you have a full taste in every sip. So here we go. Wow. Tell you what, it comes right to the tongue as very light, and then it just fills your taste buds with spices, with the maltiness, with just the rich characteristics of a quadruple. This is definitely a world-class beer, and I must say, I've had this beer several times. If you're ever able to get a bottle of it, and they sell them at many bottle shops, I mean, they're not hard to come by. I would definitely just spend the money, get yourself a 25.4 ounce bomber of it. It'll range from about $10 to $12. It is a world-class beer, and it's admittedly my favorite beer, period. Which means I'll give this a 10 out of 10.